You are now listening to the Peter and Jake Talks Wrasslin podcast, a weekly review of Monday Night Raw and other wrestling-related topics. And here's your hosts, Peter Day and Jake Grandi.
Motherfucking take two. Yeah, man, it's on. Everything's working properly. This is our second take to the beginning of Hello, boys and girls. You're now listening to Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. I'm Peter.
This is Jake.
And we're here to talk about wrestling related topics and review this Monday's amazing, well, that's a bit much, 8.5 stars out of 10 Raw from Montreal. And yeah, I think before we shut off, we were trying to distinguish the difference between New Japan storyline and like WWE storyline, but New Japan this week wasn't as good as WWE.
Yeah, that's surprising. I was just, yeah, if you watched it, I forget the name of the show, but it was a lot of 6-man, 8-man tags. There was a very, and it just kind of just seemed like everyone was kind of half-assing it. But then Raw this week,
they're probably tired as fuck. Those guys work every hour.
Yeah. They're out there. But I mean, even in comparison to their own work, I mean, they just looked like they were just cashing it in, which is okay. I mean, I guess it's cool, but it's just not as good as Raw this week, especially in front of this hot crowd, you know, in Montreal.
Yeah, Montreal is like an event for the WWE. I mean, I was listening to the PW Torch yesterday, and one of the things two things came to mind. The idea of going to Montreal and winging it, not kind of winging it and reading the crowd to see what they want and giving them a high-powered show because it's Montreal. So it's like, one of the questions came back and it's like, look, dude, like, so you mean to tell me we can get shows like this all the time, but just because they're not in places like New York, Chicago, Montreal, Hershey, you know, where hot crowds, Ohio, Cincinnati, or even Cleveland, that if they just end up in like just some place in Kansas, they're not going to give us as good of a show?
Well, I think it was all about the crowd. They got to play to the market, and if Big Show is more popular in, you know,
but I think
Huntsville, Alabama, they're going to.
But no, I don't. But that's, you play the market. No, you always deliver a good show. That's the point I'm making.
Well, I think, yeah.
You don't pick and choose your cities to give us a good show.
No, I think it's just, I think they are giving us a good show every time, but there's a lot of politics and stuff in the back, and I think this just happened to be, in our opinion, what we wanted to see.
You honestly think they believe they give us a good show every week?
I think that they, yeah, I honestly think that they believe that. I think
they give us a show, but I don't think they give us a good show. Because I think shows like the day after WrestleMania, or even shows like last night, because they went above and beyond.
Oh yeah, some shows are better than other good shows, but they're all good and great shows in comparison. I don't think they ever think they put out a bad show, and I think that's why their egos are so big now, and that's why it takes them so long to change everything.
You mean change everything like what?
Like, it takes a long time to change the parts that sucks. Like, it took a long time to convince Hunter not to be on TV every week. Took a long time to, you know, push the style the way they're pushing it now. Took a long time, you know, Dean Ambrose is now, we're going to see that Dean Ambrose is a more prominent role. Like, it takes a long time to push to get to that level.
Listening to something else, a realization, when we get to the whole Dean Ambrose thing, it's a lot of it's going to make sense. It's just not something out of the blue they decided to do. I don't think there's, just like last time, I don't think there's as much of a push for Dean Ambrose as I think is being put on. I don't know why.
I mean, well, he was standing at the end of the Raw over the top 3 guys. I don't think he's gonna win this 4-way, but he's in the main event, and
he's serving the purpose he served last year.
Taking the pin.
No, being that guy while Daniel Bryan's out.
Oh well. It's not a bad role. He keeps getting hurt.
Not at all, but that sucks. It's like being a side bitch. It's like being the bitch. It's like being the bitch that, you know what I'm saying, if you're a chick and you like this dude and you only call me up. I'm in love with you, but like you only call me up when your girlfriend's gone, or y'all are in the shits, or like that's not cool. I think you're either gonna be with me or not be with me. The difference between say a relationship like that and say what's happening to WWE, he's collected a paycheck, and he can't be like, man, that's fucked up. Why am I your side bitch to Daniel Bryan? I should be your main hoe. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is bullshit. Every time he's hurt, I got a feeling, and as soon as he come back, it's all fucking, like, roses and daisies and shit. Like, everything I did to make you happy didn't exist. Next thing you know, I'm walking in the fucking snow to WWE, like, headquarters, and delusional, looking at the fucking Intercontinental belt and the Wall of Champions, and then I can't even have that. You know, like that's my only concern with Dean. But like before we go into Raw, it's something I wanted to bring up. Something I found out today. So Global Force Wrestling is finally
I saw something like that.
Finally to fruition. And not only do they have when they're going to start their tapings, but they also have a roster that they put out on the website today. And the first GFW taping will be on July 24th. It'll be in Las Vegas. And New Orleans Arena that can fit over 9,500 people. And the TV deal is unknown at this time. Very ambitious.
Yeah.
Very ambitious.
Well, I mean, Vegas, they do get a lot of tourists and stuff, so you could probably, like, day of, get like 1,000 people walking up.
But 1,000 people and 9,000
That's what. Yeah. So, I mean, this is probably going to be. I mean, TNA really wasn't that successful. Like, it's just been kind of kept afloat with oil money.
Yep.
So Jeff Jarrett, I think, I mean, they got to deal with New Japan. They might bring some New Japan guys.
Check it out. So GFW has alliance with 13 promotions on 5 continents, which includes New Japan Wrestling, Mexico's AAA, and more top independent organizations in Europe, Australia, and Africa. Chael Sonnen was named Global Force Wrestling analyst and will be part of the GFW commentary team. If you don't know who Chael Sonnen is, very provocative, controversial UFC fighter. At one point, he the highest paid. He grossed the most because he's such a jerk. He was like the biggest heel in MMA sports. So they got him.
I think he got popped a lot of times with like weed and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's a fuck up, but he's also a shit talker, and he made his living up just like Mayweather, just pissing people off. He was an asshole, and he made a living out of being an asshole. He was a decent fighter. I think he had his share of victories and titles, but he's now part of GWF. So, okay. Bullet Club members, Machine Gun Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows have been signed.
It's not a surprise at all. I know that Doc Gallows, or Jeff Jarrett works for Doc Gallows, and his promotion he runs in Georgia. Doc Gallows is on Impact. So, I mean, that's probably, and I would say that was probably the first people that were signed. I mean, those guys seem like they're buddies.
Yeah, they're homeboys.
Yeah.
Jeff Jarrett is part of the Bullet Club, right? Kind of like when I saw
they were doing like a joint promotion thing on the January 4th show. So Jeff Jarrett and Bill DeMar, the Canadian, he was like wrestled on the one Japanese show. So they were a part of it for one night. So I guess in storyline they're still back.
Yeah, that one show, I don't know, I forgot which one it was. Maybe it was like the beginning of Okinawa or something like that. The beginning series, they did the 2.
Where Jeff Jarrett came out?
Yeah, and it was like a really short sort of comedic match.
Yeah, that's what they kind of...
Yeah. But it's Bullet Club, and I just feel like they're as much... They do the whole clique sign. They're just as much as a clique in terms of how they look out for each other as, say, Michaels and fucking Diesel and Triple H.
Oh, yeah. See, they passed around the belt.
Doc Gallows, Machine Gun Carl, You know?
I mean, yeah, I'm not jumping up and down. I already see them in New Japan all the time, and I'm a fan.
But I feel like those guys are guys that just couldn't cut the mustard. You know, it's kind of hard to look and take those guys.
I would say a lot of WWE guys want to be them. Carl Anderson has never had a shot in America, and he went over to Japan, and he's been there for like 10 years now.
Well, that's the thing, but nobody really wants to go to Japan. Not saying that, like, nobody wants to go wrestle. Like, yeah, wrestling for New Japan is awesome. But, like, if you could stay home, you're going to fucking stay home. Right? Yes. Yeah. Why would I want to go to Japan when I can make a living here?
Well, because then you could be a part of the Bullet Club and not someone like The Miz or someone
Well,
like
I mean, I'm just saying in general. I think it's just a job thing. I don't think it's a wrestling thing. I think it's a job thing. If I got to set up shop and go to somewhere else to make a living, granted, I'll do it. But I don't want to because I would much rather be home in a place that's more familiar and stuff, you know? So, I mean...
Well, I'm saying if they weren't in Japan and they stayed in America, they probably wouldn't be announced on this big press conference.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Well, they can finally come home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's great for them.
So I think it gives them a longer career going to Japan, and it's like a prestigious thing now. And you know, like for like 30 years, people have been going over there.
Well, so. I'm not taking anything away from Japan. Just like my whole thing about like, okay, if the MLS isn't as great of a soccer conference or soccer like, you know, league, at least it's in America. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the one big sell to anyone across the country. Well, you can come to America, dog. It's like, yeah. So maybe in their twilight of their career, they'll show up here, but, like, they come here because they want to make it in America. But we could go on for days about that. Tag team. The tag team known as Killer Elite Squad.
Yeah.
David Hart Smith and Lance Hoyt.
Yeah, once again, TNA. Lance Hoyt was in TNA. He's just pretty much signing his boys. I mean, whatever. That's cool.
Former TNA X Division champion and current Wrestling One talent Sonata has been signed.
All right.
Chris the Adonis Mordeski, also known as Chris Masters,
okay,
has been signed.
That's cool. I feel like he always worked hard.
PJ Black, also known as Justin Gabriel, has been signed. And former NFL offensive line Quinn Ojikakaka, whatever the fuck you pronounce it, and current ROH wrestler known as Moose.
Yeah. We saw him before. We saw him wrestle before.
Yeah, I made a comment on this post. I was like, man, that dude, you could tat him up with George Washington, and he could pass as a dollar bill. He's green.
He is, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty green. But I guess around maybe some guys like this, maybe he'll get a little better, just like he's doing in ROH. But he definitely stands out on that list of guys as someone who is not as experienced.
Yeah, but he has hype around him, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, why not?
Former TNA knockout Lady Datapa has been signed. Thea Trinidad, also known as Rosetta from TNA, has been signed. And more talent acquisitions are expected to be announced today. This is all the info we have at this time. So.
That would be a great indie show, but I don't see them drawing 9,000 people with that, or 1,000. I'm gonna say, because of big promotion and because of the way Vegas works, where like there's tons of tourists and stuff, and there's people just walking around and wanting to see shows, I think that they can benefit a lot from that. Just people going around instead of seeing, I know like Britney Spears does a show, I know like Celine Dion does a show, and all these magic people. I'm sure like a lot of dudes would want to go see something like that.
Yeah. And
they can probably convince their woman to go see something like that, or like the family. So they can probably maybe get 1,000 people in Vegas, but keep the camera tight.
Keep the lights low. Keep the motherfucking lights low.
But good on them, man. I mean, start with something.
Yeah, you got to start with something.
Yeah,
and this is stuff that we were talking about before in terms of like the collaboration with and collecting money. That's all they've been doing, collecting money. And now they're in a position to get the ball rolling. But the talent pool is so shallow because of the NXT development and all the top talent, or the top potential draws, if they're green, at least they look good, they're going to end up signing to WWE. Now, whether it's tough enough in the development, if they can't cut the mustard, and they show up, just like in TNA, no one's going to take them serious. They're only WWE rejects.
Well, that's what TNA was for a long time, and what they did was they just threw the belt on him. And Jeff Jarrett was obviously heavily involved with that. So I think hopefully he learns from his mistake. And he was the wrestling end of all that. Like, they had a Vince Russo, they had Dixie Carter with TNA, but Jeff Jarrett's history, his father was a booker, he booked, and he's been wrestling for a long time. So hopefully if he keeps it wrestling based and doesn't go crazy trying to bring in all celebrities and all that stuff,
or get his own shine he wants to dictate and be basically the center of attention, that's where shit's gonna fall. I hope he learned his lesson, because you could talk about any and every booking decision that's ever made, that he's ever done.
It's been him with the belt.
But if it's him involved, it's the one that was the biggest hit.
Yeah.
I've never liked Jeff Jarrett. When I was a kid watching like WCW and like him, and then like the WWF and like him and like on that fucking horse, and like just his whole gimmick to me has always, I don't know. I mean, I would admit I'm knowing now about his backstory. But even then, it's just something about this guy that I just can't connect to and can't stand. It's something about it seems forced. How did this guy is an idiot. Even as a kid.
I didn't mind the cowboy. Yeah, I didn't mind the cowboy gimmick as much, because that was just a mid-card gimmick. But when he got onto WCW and the Dying Days, and he was trying to be this hard ass, and then he kind of took that character into TNA. That was when TNA Jeff Jarrett kind of.
But even before that, though, like when I was a kid and watching WCW, I remember he was doing this. I was like, "Fuck this guy!"
Well, he brought it. No.
And then he left, and then he came back, and I was like, "Fuck this guy!" Even to today, like
he had those dumb tights where it's like the neck and the
yeah, and it was like almost like a. It's hard to explain. So anyone who knows Jeff Jarrett, you know what I'm talking about.
Like a priest collar, but then like came down with straps.
Yeah, it came down with straps. Three. Like it came down like it was like space in between each fucking stripe, and I just couldn't deal with that guy ever in my life. So for me to even be talking about him, I'd much rather talk about him in an executive role than in a talent.
Yeah, I never even. You brought that up, and I did not even. I hate that so much that I didn't even think about it.
I hate him.
He did great. I'm sure he could do great backstage, but if he puts himself in front of that camera, you know he's going to put the belt on him. He's going to be running around, king of the mountain once again, hitting people with guitars.
Idiot. But when he hit, the only cool moment I've only seen him do is when he popped Booker T's old lady with that fucking guitar. It was so cowardly. It was such a bullshit moment that it worked. It was the only time that you just went like, this motherfucker.
Oh, I know we were talking about like backstage segments in Japan before it cut off. And Jeff Jarrett hit Hulk Hogan with a guitar backstage in Japan to set up some TNA thing that never happened.
Did Hogan sell it?
Yeah, oh yeah, he went down and held his head, you know. But those are two American guys over there, you know. But that's pretty much, that's... Jeff Jarrett's always, hopefully this takes off, but Jeff Jarrett's never really been entertaining to me.
It's just... The biggest heel to me ever was Mike Rotunda of the Varsity Club. I hated him so much because he was the perfect heel. But the guy I hated, because like, get the fuck off my TV, Jeff Jarrett. Of all time. No one comes
It's Jeff
close.
Jarrett heat to you. It's not X-Pac heat to you.
I think Jeff Jarrett heat is worse than X-Pac heat.
Huh.
At least X-Pac had some relevance.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, he was good. He was a great wrestler at one point, and then he kind of like cashed in a little bit.
Oh yeah.
With the click.
But you know that I've never really focused on the idea of X-Pac heat. I think that was like. I wasn't aware of it.
Yeah. I always just thought, oh, there's X-Pac. I never thought that people would change the channel because of X-Pac.
Yeah. But that's like, those were seasoned wrestling fans, and we were all wet. We were green.
We were young.
So, the only other significant thing is the fact that that bitch, Michelle Beadle, decides she wants to take out her, like, anger on the WWE. She's probably like the most famous WWE fan in the world right now, and she turned in her fan card because of like apparently WWE's love for Floyd Mayweather.
Oh, and how he beats. Well,
Yeah,
I read some crazy stories.
Yeah, he's a fucking violent person.
He's been like that. It's not like these allegations or these things he's been charged of or accused of or guilty of is new.
No, not at all.
So it's like it just seems like people are trying to like not knock him when he's down, but like shake the pole when he's up. He's always been whatever he's been. He's not like
On her end of the spectrum, it's the fact that in terms of like, because it was his show, and she's like, I want these two bitches I don't want in here. Denied access. She want to get in, she pays a ticket just like everyone else. Rachel Nichols, Michelle Beadle. They were like at the top of the list.
Really?
Yeah. So like yeah.
Why, just because they said something about?
Yeah. Like they've always been on his ass. So he's like, fuck them bitches.
Well, of course. Why would you? If you're a woman, of course you hate Floyd Mayweather.
So instead of looking at HBO, a place who she works for, instead of looking at ESPN, a place that she works for,
she takes WWE.
She fucking raises up her nose at the WWE for our love. They haven't been in cahoots with fucking Mayweather since the Big Show feud.
Yeah.
And now,
well, they did that little special on
so
Friday.
What? Yeah. The job you work for, HBO, is having the fight. It's ESPN. Every time you turn on ESPN, it's something about fucking Floyd Mayweather. How about you quit your job? Both jobs. You want to take a stand? Oh, no. It's almost like passive aggressive. It's almost like if me and you were the same size and I was pissed off at you and I saw a little guy and I just started beating up on him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like, this could be you, man. This could be you.
Well, that's the whole thing with the internet nowadays and the social media nowadays. Everyone feels like it's not like that they have to prove. It's not that they're against a certain topic. They have to prove to everyone how against a certain topic they are.
But why the WWE though? Of all things, I just go like.
She does not. Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Like your beef is with HBO. Your beef is like
you hit it on the head. She doesn't work for him. She doesn't work for him.
So the fact that her fanship and the fact that she has to put it out there like she's taking some stand when in fact the problem is her fucking in-house job.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy because I'm like, quit your job. Like, don't turn your nose up at us. We've done nothing to you. We didn't say, hey, you can't come into this fight with your press credentials. We didn't do that as fans. WWE didn't do that as an organization. No one did anything to her. But yet and still, she wants to turn her nose up. It's just a mind-blowing thing. It's like, you know what? And so we as fans get shitted on because she's better than us because she's taking this stand against. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bitch, fuck off. We never cared about you in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I don't care what she does. If she don't have to, I liked wrestling as a kid, probably before she started watching. I like it now after she's done.
When WrestleMania comes around and like she's front and fucking center, and now oh yeah, they loved me then, and now they're shit now. Man, eat a dick. Eat several of them. Whole penis souffle hoe. I've never liked you. You're not pretty. You're not anything. You're not even funny. You're not smart. You're nothing.
Rachel Nichols, though, man.
I love Rachel, though. Hey, now. Hey, now. That nose, that red hair. Oh, boy. That Rachel, I'll shut a whole room up. If she's on the TV, shut up.
Shut up. Hey.
Hey, shut the fuck up. Rachel's on it.
But make it brighter. Fix the color.
No, that's good. That nice little red hue. We don't want to change that up. Girl. That's my baby. But let's go into this Raw from Montreal. And you want to do something different because it's one thing to go like play by play what happened backstage or what have you. Let's just go into the matches.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about the matches and what built up to the matches.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Well, Well, the first match was New Day, the tag team champs, versus Roman Reigns and Orton. It got set up because Roman Reigns and Orton came out. They had a little, words back and forth. And then the New Day came out, and then Kane comes out after that and puts them all in a match together. It was a great match.
You find out that Kane. They come out because they both like, oh, I'm gonna win the triple threat.
That's
no,
right.
I'm gonna win the triple
Kane
threat.
already booked it.
And then which is exciting for the New Day for me because it's like I love how at first how I hated this crap, and now it sort of worked its way out to it works now for what it is.
Yeah.
I don't think they're doing anything different other than say their attitude has changed.
They turned up the heel a little bit, especially in the matches.
Yeah, I still don't agree with the whole they're heel because of the Cesaro and Kid thing. I still don't agree with that.
I think they're heel because when Woods went under the ring and grabbed Sin Cara's boots.
Yes.
That's when they became heel.
Yeah, but that said nothing for Kid and Cesaro turn.
Oh, why?
You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? That's just something that's unclean to
lazy.
me. It's but this is their first opening segment. This is exciting for them. I don't think Kofi. The last time Kofi had an opening segment was his feud against Orton, Biggie Langston. I don't think
he might have came out with AJ and Ziggler.
Yeah,
but Woods definitely not.
No.
And but this is a great match. Booker T mentioned the Freebirds, how they passed the belt around and everything. I thought that was cool. Xavier Woods is always funny to me. Whenever he had Roman Reigns in the head right off the bat, and he's just like, I'm gonna beat Roman Reigns, and just yelled it out. CM Punk chants though, I was not
because it wasn't good chemistry in the ring at all. It was a very lackluster match. It started to pick up at the very end, but I think on the straight from the fly, nobody understood the psychology of what this match was going to be.
And I like the how Randy caught Kofi for that slam off the springboard turn into one of the, what I'm talking about?
Say it again.
That slam that he.
Oh, the sidewalk slam.
Yeah, well, it's not the sidewalk slam is done.
But no, when he grabs him and.
Yeah. I'm saying he caught him from the springboard and did that. That was pretty nice. All hell breaks loose after that. Kofi gets caught with the DDT. Woods gets caught with RKO, but then moves out the way for Orton to get speared by Roman Reigns accidentally. And then that's how the New Day took advantage. Tag team champs beat Roman Reigns and Randy Orton.
And who got the pin?
Kofi.
Was it Kofi? Yeah, Kofi gets the pin on on Orton.
On Orton, yeah.
Which is talk about how things come back around. Because even there's one point where he's setting up for. By the way, not to mention this is a 3-on-2. This is a 3-on-2 match. But he set it up for the RKO, but we all know that situation. It's just that really eerie situation between Kofi and Orton, of the whole stupid,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So he's looking down at Kofi. I mean, he's in on it. I think everyone's in on it by now. But that was interesting. Yeah, the JBL and CM Punk chance because it just started off so slow. It started off really slow. And Orton, if I was to tell Roman Reigns to pay attention to one person in terms of oh yeah, this is how a babyface works. This is how you use the crowd as energy. It's Randy Orton. Orton knows how to rock the crowd, and when he got his hot tag, that was what it was all about. He whipped the fucking crowd into a frenzy, man.
Oh yeah.
And if you take a guy like Roman Reigns, and I've talked about this before, if he's walking through the crowd, you're the people's champ, and you're walking with your arms in, why can't you shift? If you shifted your whole thing to where you're actually getting energy from the crowd,
you high-fiving them and shit like that.
But not even high. You don't even gotta really high five. You walk down with pride. You acknowledge the people around you.
Yeah.
Just simple acknowledgement rather than being this cool dude walking through the crowd. I just think it's ass backwards marketing for him. But yeah. But the spear on Orton sets up the animosity angle, and that's the whole point. Safe back from SmackDown has implemented a plan. Kane has implemented a plan to not only wear down the two of them, but to also draw up animosity amongst them two.
Yeah, that's cool. I know you just run through the matches here, but I also thought like Ryback did a really good in-ring promo. I just want to make mention of that. Like he used to get slack kind of used to get shit for being how bad he was in ring and on the mic. But I mean, he shut the Goldberg chants up, and he got Feed Me More chants going like right off the bat. That was pretty awesome.
It was tough. It was a tough promo though. I mean, like you could see like it was getting to him. He was repeating some things. Like he doesn't have that block like Cena. Well, but at the same time, he hasn't been given as many opportunities as Cena to talk on the mic to sort of work through those things. He gave basically almost the same promo he gave before his firing on a Survivor Series thing, you know.
And then Bray came on the Titantron. Mm-hmm. He had a little promo.
Was that the first time he addressed the Goldberg chants?
That's why I mentioned. He mentioned he's like, oh, if you don't mention them, they're gonna keep going. Mm-hmm. And as soon as he said that, I guess all the Ryback fans who are like legitimate Ryback fans, not just trying to be like like snarky, kind of just said like, yeah, feed me more. So it really did like all he did was have to mention it one time, and that shut up like years of getting under his skin. And then like
I hope he doesn't get in trouble for that.
No, I don't think so. I think it was so apparent it was over. I mean, I think he got it over. So anything that gets over in hindsight, Vince is going to be like, oh, that was a great idea, But then we had Kid and Cesaro versus the Ascension.
Oh, but Bray, the only thing Bray said was like, you see yourself as this like unstoppable force, but you're a scared boy. I'm still not convinced that this is a feud. I'm still not convinced.
I think they're going to get one match.
Yeah, but it's gonna be only a match.
But
I still think Orton is his destination.
Oh, Orton can be the destination, but this is still a feud. A feud can last one match.
I know. I'm just saying, like all this build up. I think Ryback is just a stepping stone because they got nothing for him until he gets to Randy Orton after Payback. I'm shooting for this feud, man.
That would be a good match. But I think Orton's more over now than I think he was in years, at least 5 or 6 years.
Because you remember when he was face and he hated it, like it was all this talk about him not wanting to be a face because it was booked so badly. He's in a point now where it's like, yes, it works now. It's time for you to be a face.
Yeah.
Especially what they're doing with Cena. Cena's not on the main card anymore. He's not in the upper card anymore.
And I think that's the best. We'll get to that. But like Ken Cesaro versus the Ascension.
I have one thing to say.
Okay.
I have one thing written. Well, Ascension, I love you so much. Their little promo, their little box they were given, it's gold.
Can I say something about that? Because I wrote down a big speech about how that just sucked.
No, I loved it.
I'll tell you why it sucked. Because he said, Tyson Kidd, just because you are married to Hart means you're not a part of the Hart dynasty. He was the last one to train in the dungeon where they were all trained. Second of all, Jim the Anvil, Neidhart, and Davey Boy Smith, people that were in the Hart Foundation in the 90s, married into the Hart Foundation to become the Hart Foundation. So half the Hart Foundation married in, and he trained where they all trained. That's why he's a member of the Hart Foundation. You're dumb.
I think that's the point. I think that's the point of the Ascension, to sort of really say obnoxious things.
Well, dude, then it worked.
It's great.
Then it fucking
it had to. We're going to take the arms and we're going to shove it out their throats. Oh, I love it. I love those guys so much. They're the epitome of like gold.
Of awful wrestling,
gold.
Awful promos.
Gold. But if I can only say one thing about this match, Cesaro. That's it. Period. That's it. That's all you really need to say about this match.
Those uppercuts? Well, I mean, Tyson Kidd definitely did not get outshined.
Fuck, whatever, man. This match was all about Cesaro. And when he went on that fucking... It's just... The guy knows how to connect with the people in a room. No matter who's he's facing, no matter where he's at. The guy knows how to connect. So he's like, man, we're about to get buried up in this motherfucker. I ain't got time for this. Time to put on a show. and he just whips him like he does it like what 15 times.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
That was pretty cool.
It was amazing. The crowd going wild because you're like, what? Wait, what's happening? What's happening? And then you're just like, fuck it, yeah. You know, and I'm thinking, I'm like, and all I can think is like Vince and the Stone Cold like podcast, just going like, I don't know how you why you can't connect with the people. Maybe because he's Swedish. It's like maybe because he's Swiss. Anytime he does something awesome, you get the crowd in a fucking uproar. All I do every time it dates back to that one phrase. It's like, shut up.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna get over here now. You're gonna take him away from that and put him in something else that he has to make awesome.
I mean, I agree. I think he is awesome, but I think the more we remind Vince of that, or remind anyone in the company of that, the more they're going to keep him down because Vince can't be proven wrong, or if he is proven wrong, it takes him a while to admit it. So we gotta just let him forget about it. You know?
I see what you're saying.
We can't even bring it up. Like don't listen to the show.
I know, right? If you're listening,
don't listen, Vince.
No, because we know Vince. He tweets about.
He's one of the views. Yeah,
he tweets this podcast all the fucking time. He retweets. Yeah.
But Tyson Kidd did do that one spot where he dives over in between the.
Oh yeah, what is that? What is that called?
Between the middle and top rope tope con hilo.
Yeah. He did that last week too. That's like his thing.
It was pretty sick. And then they did the spin around and the kick to win.
So next up we got Ambrose versus Rollins, and
this was like booked in the back.
Yeah, this was booked in the back as a rematch from Thursday Night SmackDown because it ended in didn't it end in DQ or something like that? No, yeah, it ended in DQ because of J&J involvement.
But if Dean wins, he's a part of the then 3-way at Payback.
Yes, it becomes a fatal 4-way, and Ambrose just entertains the crowd. This is, between say what happened. Seriously, Orton entertaining, Cesaro entertains. This was the Ambrose show. I think this match lasted 23 minutes. Mm-hmm. It lasted 23 fucking minutes.
It was great.
You get a holy shit moment where they get weird. It got weird when they had to be like, holy shit, huh? And then they're like, what do we do? Okay, let's just re-show it and take all the sound down.
The big suicide dive right there. That was cool. But I thought the holy shit moment for me, there's two. The one where Seth Rollins powerbombed him into the barricade.
Bomb into the barricade,
yeah. Which was pretty. That looked painful. And then it was a big Dean Ambrose rolls into the count of 10 or at count of 9 to beat the 10 count. But then the J&J run in at the end. Dean fights him off, but through the fight off, Rollins rolls him up for the 1, 2, 3.
Gets the schoolboy.
Yeah.
And he's finally in the fatal 4-way. Now, listening to PW Torch today and the discussion of where they have their the discussion was, okay, they gave Montreal the show they did because it's a very hostile crowd and they couldn't afford to get shat on. One guy called, he goes, that's fucked up if that's the case. They should always give us a great show. So you mean to tell me if they go to so-and-so, they're going to give us a shit show? And it's like, well, there's got to be something. And then I think this is James Caldwell. It was an epiphany and he was looking at the dates. You know where the next Raw is going to be?
Where?
Cincinnati.
That's, Cincinnati, Ohio?
Uh-huh.
So Ohio's
Guess who's from there?
Is Dean Ambrose?
Dean Ambrose is from Cincinnati, Ohio. So, would this be the go-home show next week? Or
I'm not sure.
Okay. But either way, the only reason why he's in this, and I don't think it's as much of a push, like we were talking off the air, as much as it is, let's just make this a hot show and use Dean Ambrose as a meal ticket to make sure that Cincinnati is a hot town. It's sad. It's a sad fucking way to think about it because we want to believe that he's getting a push. This is like some sort of push version fucking 4.
Yeah.
You know? But it's all going to make sense in the end. And I don't see him getting pinned. I don't think he's going to be the one to take the fall.
What I saw when I saw that Dean Ambrose was a part of the main event was they don't want to expose how over Dean is, comparatively speaking, to Reigns. I think that Reigns is not as over as Dean if you look at numbers of anything, but they don't want to say that because they put all their eggs in the Roman Reigns basket. So if you just put all 3 Shield members in the match, you're just saying, oh, look at all 3. You can then say all 3 Shield members now in this match instead of saying Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins used to be in the Shield. And then that's just going to make the internet explode with what about Dean, and that's going to make people more behind Dean than they already are. So giving us a taste of what we want is going to not make us, it's going to not make our mouths water as much for Dean and then maybe turn our backs on Roman. Because right now we just don't care about Roman. They don't want us to start booing him.
But I just only wish that they made as big of a deal of their Shield history than they already do now, which they don't. It sucks. It's a very horrible thing that they're doing. You want to get Roman over? He still has the theme song. He still has the attire. Like, he is the Shield still.
Yeah.
So why not? You want to get him over? Make it a big deal. Not that he's living he's living in the past, obviously.
Yeah, I agree.
But like, the idea that this is the first Shield collaborative moment since the breakup.
Yeah, it should be a bigger deal. I think it is a big deal. Like, if I go on Twitter, that's what everyone's still talking about. Everyone's still like, oh, I'm Roman Reigns girl, I'm Dean Ambrose girl, I'm Rollins chick. And then every dude has pictures, their cover picture is what is like the Shield, like bumping fists. So fans still know it, and it's still like everyone still talks about it. But for some reason, the company that created it doesn't want to talk about the hottest thing they ever did in like 10 years.
And they use the hottest thing they ever did, give it to the guy that they're giving the rub to, but then just like, it's weird. It's like, okay, you keep the music, you keep the gimmick, you keep the attire, you still walk down the stairs. But yeah, there's these 2 other dudes. Here's Rollins, here's Ambrose. They were in this thing. I think they're called the Shield.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're in the ring together, and the animosity towards Rollins is non-existent. Non-existent.
I mean, it definitely makes the main event better. I think a 4-way is gonna be better than 3-way, especially with Dean Ambrose involved. I think 4-way could hide Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns doesn't have to do as much. And
it doesn't do much anything anyway.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So instead of blank space being taken up, we have Dean and Seth fighting and Randy fighting, and then what Roman Reigns can come in with the super punch or whatever. We don't have to have these stalling moments where we're all bored.
So I'm still waiting for a headlock. That's it. Just give me a headlock. I'm keeping up with like wrestling moves from Roman Reigns.
Oh well, he got put in a headlock by Xavier Woods.
Yeah, but like. He did a suplex over the past couple. Like, he's done a suplex and he's done a what has he done? He did another wrestling move and a DDT. This was on SmackDown.
Well, man, he might become a full-on wrestler here.
Dude, he still hasn't locked up with anybody, and he still hasn't put anybody in a fucking headlock. Just give me a headlock. Give me a hip toss.
Give me a walk out of the ring. Don't wrestle on my TV.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean to be rude. Do your thing.
So, what we get?
I didn't mean like, yeah, I did.
We get Fandango versus Rusev. And
this is a nice little quick match. It was a squash match with a story, which is kind of cool. Lana got caught doing the Fandango. It's infectious. Everyone was doing it in the whole arena, but for some reason Rusev gets pissed, sends her to the back, and beats the fuck out of Fandango for making her do it. What'd you think, Peter?
Yeah, they finally in the back talked about Saxton. Byron Saxton was in the back, and he addresses the attention that she's been getting. And, Fandango, he shows up on some like, share your share. Like, share your world. I share mine now. Why not you? And that's what built into it. I think if he wouldn't have showed up backstage before that she wouldn't have done it, because she started off with a little thing and then she started getting really into it, which is really cute.
I was like, what?
Which is really cute.
Oh.
And they're going all out. Like, I thought it was going to be more or less her, okay, yeah, I'm hot. I know I'm fucking hot. I still don't want nothing to do with your American slime.
Yeah.
But it seemed, or Canadian for that matter, but it seems like they're not going to do it. They're going to go full on baby face with her, and she's going to have to let that hair down at some point. And it's, oh man, when she puts that hair down, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And I was to the Torch, and they were saying like she has the potential to be as big as Sable, or like Trish, or who was the one girl?
She could be like a Stacey Keebler.
Yeah. She could be
especially.
She could be as big as her, or even the other one that's selling herself on fucking Skype now. Tammy.
Sunny.
She can be the biggest diva of all time. She has the potential to be the biggest, most famous diva of all time. Diva.
Well, I think let's see what they. I know Sable got hooked up with Brock Lesnar, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
And then Stacey Keebler, I don't know for now, but she was hooking up with George Clooney.
Yeah, they're not together anymore. She's moved on to some other dude.
Oh.
Some other like big player, yeah. But I'm talking about in terms of star status.
Yeah.
Because she was given more mic time. Well, I'm not so much disabled, but like for her presence, who she was with Rusev and how she's getting over now because she's just hot. Because we've been talking about her being hot as long as she's been a bitch, and now she's less of a bitch. Rusev is exposing himself as a very insecure individual, and that's the storyline. And again, she drops the hair. You remember? I said I'm waiting for my Triple H angle. I'm waiting for my Stephanie Triple H Lana angle. I still got hope. Go back and listen to when maybe like 6 months ago. I'm on it, and I'm sticking with it. Like I'm sticking with my right now my Luke Harper and Dean Ambrose tag team.
Tag team?
Yeah, right. I still want it.
What'd you think of this R-Truth Stardust match? I think it's cool that they did like a little angle playing off the King of the Ring. How Stardust lost to R-Truth. I guess that makes a storyline to otherwise a filler match. But it was real quick.
It was dumb. It's dumb. Cody isn't as cool as he used to be. R-Truth is a fucking idiot. This was a waste of everyone's time.
Well, the story was R-Truth is afraid of spiders or whatever, and he opened a bag and a bunch of
plastic spiders.
Yeah, plastic, rubber, what have you. Toy spiders popped up. It scared him. Stardust got to roll him up, and R-Truth just runs out the ring scared of toy spiders. I guess it was funny to somebody, maybe a little kid. Maybe that's what they were going for.
Yeah, it was.
But not. I wish that they just wrestled, because those two guys are really good.
Cody needs to go to the fucking New Japan. Like, seriously, man, he's perfect. We talked about that. He's perfect, especially with the new gear on this fucking thing now. The like the wing thing.
Oh yeah, I can see a Cody Nakamura feud.
Dude, that would be so awesome. That would be so awesome. That would be great. And now this is, and I'm actually produce this into the music. Where we at? This is like
10:45.
So there's about a minute and two in. So an hour or two. And right now, everybody, it's the John Cena Open Challenge! Yeah, I know. So you hear it in the post-production. So what we have right now, which I think is pretty fucking cool, and I think it can become a segment in itself. It's the Cena Open Challenge segment of the night. And dude, talk about an impatient crowd.
You think so?
They were singing fucking Olay in the first hour.
Yeah.
And they all knew it. Everyone knew it. The cat was out the bag. The cat was wearing the bag.
The cat was like jumping in and out of the bag. Doing
and, he caught on to it. They go, oh, he even addressed. He's like, as long as you keep singing, you're not gonna stop. Everyone knew. It's like this is. Oh yeah, we know what's gonna happen. Shut up talking and let's get to it. But what's great about Cena is that he knows how to turn a crowd just like that.
Yeah.
And that's one of his biggest. But the John Cena sucks chant was probably the loudest I've ever heard it.
Yeah. Montreal, Toronto, Buffalo. They're smart fans, but they're smart based on that. That's old school WWE fans right there. If they go into like a Chicago, there was like St. Louis, and like the AWA stuff. They go down here, I mean, we're not as hot as up there, but that's Mid-Atlantic. But that's like that was their territory.
Yeah.
So that's like they're ingrained with WWE. I mean, Montreal Screwjob, But dude, this match is super fucking over. I thought this was awesome.
You know why? Do you know fucking why it was so goddamn over? Because of fucking Sami Zayn. It's Sami Zayn. I'm sitting back going like, they're not really gonna do this. I don't read dirt sheets. I don't check out previews and shit like that. I don't know that Sami Zayn is gonna show up. But everyone's singing Olay and everyone's doing that crap. And I'm like, there's no way they're gonna pull the trigger on this, right? So Bret Hart comes out, and you think that he's gonna take the challenge. I'm like, no way. I mean, you don't think, but it's I just go like, oh man, he's taking the challenge. Awesome. So this is where you come in, and it's almost as if Bret Hart was just like, he's such a mark for himself. He's like, and I want to introduce. He says it like 4 times, waiting for fucking the redhead assassin. Fucking what's his name? Heath Slater comes out. It is his 3rd attempt to finally get to the U.S. Championship of the world. And before it was in the back, he talks about it, how he got RKO'd out of nowhere in the back, how he got attacked by Rusev on the fucking ramp. You go, maybe he'll make it to the ring next week. And sure enough, he made it to the ring. Only to catch a microphone pop from Bret Hart. Big pop. He introduces Sami Zayn.
Yeah, that was, and then it just kicks off from commercial break. Big startup.
Fuck, that pissed me off.
Oh, why? Because you wanted to hear him come out?
Well, he comes out, but it's like we come by at a commercial with the match in progress.
Oh, I didn't think it was in progress. I think they ring the bell. It started out right away.
No, they were already in progress. Like it had already gone on with the match. There was no when they came back.
But you see the way they were doing it. That was the start of the match.
Okay, it didn't seem that way. I was pretty mad. I wrote that match in progress. The fuck?
Well, I don't think it was too much progress, but it was big, super over, big LA chance. Was he? I don't know. He might have gotten hurt, really, but it was in front of the camera, so you never know. But I mean, I didn't read.
His shoulder did look weird.
It did look red, and you could kind of tell he was still.
It was out.
Even in spots that he was, supposed to like do like a big jump and like put both hands out, he kind of didn't do it. But he did his always nice Sami Zayn senton. And if I would, I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone watching this. John Cena wrestle El Generico on Raw. Like,
not Twilight Zone, Bizarro World.
Yeah.
Like the weird Bizarro World.
And Sami Zayn actually kicked out of the AA, which was pretty wild.
Well, no, he breaks the STF. He doesn't kick out of the AA.
He kicked out of the AA.
There was a spot where he throws him into the AA.
No, he kicked out of the AA.
Oh yeah, you're right. Later on. But like before then though, he breaks the STF.
Yeah.
To the ropes. He does a coochie clutch, a very because Cena's so big.
Even when he did like the belly to back suplex, you could tell like he didn't like throw him. Like I think Sami Zayn was kind of caught off guard by like the size of Cena.
Yeah. It's like carrying a speaker. It's not that the speaker's that heavy. It's just so wide that it becomes a burden to carry around. He does that DDT move. He debuted on Cesaro a couple of years back. He's outside. He jumps between the ropes.
Oh, he did not debut. That's an old classic.
I know, but he debuted it on himself. The first time I remember watching the first match between him and Cesaro when they were doing that 3-part series on NXT.
No, I'm saying Sami Zayn's done that move for.
I know, but like for the WWE.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But he whips that out on Cena, and Cena does. I mean, I give it to Cena. He was playing the heel, which is, if you've noticed over the past couple of like open challenge, when he's the gatekeeper to the young kids, basically this is what's been called. He's like the gatekeeper. he's been doing a great job keeping up with these guys, and it really shows. It shows that where we're moving towards. And I was thinking about this the other day. It's that like the evolution of the wrestler isn't going to be Cena. We're not going to see the Cena types so much anymore, like big guys, the Triple H's or the
Batistas.
Yeah, we're not going to see those guys anymore. I think in 3 or 4 years, they're all going to be gone.
Well, I mean, if you just look at it, like Randy Orton he's the same size as Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was supposed to be the big guy in the Shield.
I don't consider him a big guy.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so that just shows you, like, Randy Orton was never considered a big guy. So that just shows you that people are, the scale is getting...
It's getting small. And you could tell that it was made prevalent.
Oh, yeah.
Made very obvious in this match. But I think Cena did a great job to keep up and to not make Zayn look bad. Just like when he threw him into the AA.
Kind of fell on his ass.
But because he tossed him up so high, I think Zayn wasn't expecting to go so high in the air. Because, you're talking about He-Man strength with
But then the springboard stunner into the AA finally takes out Sami Zayn in front of the hometown crowd.
The Blue Thunder Bomb?
Yeah, it's pretty fucking
He
sick.
hit it with the Blue Thunder Bomb. Yeah. But the stunner to the AA, and it was just like, oh yeah, we know what's going on here. So, yeah. And people are like, oh yeah, shut up.
I don't know I was just watching the whole time, just like, I can't believe El Generico. I mean, Sami Zayn, whatever, but like, I've loved this dude forever. Like, his YouTube like clips and everything kind of like got me, like, not back into wrestling, but like excited about wrestling again at one point when he was doing that stuff in PWG and everything. And then he went on to Ring of Honor, and then he got signed, and then he became Sami Zayn in NXT. I'm just like happy for the dude. I can't explain it, Like,
and it was a great spot for him. What's happening with all the people who are debuting on the main roster? They're losing, whether it's Neville, whether it's Charlotte Flair. It's like, no, dude, they're putting these awesome spots. You're gonna get to see these people grow. And what's happening with Neville right now is awesome. A guy who lost, who's losing.
He's won one match, right?
Yeah, he beat
Baird on the pay-per-view pre-show.
Yeah, and I think he was part of a tag team win.
Oh.
But like, he's just fine. We're gonna watch this guy grow into a legitimate contender, and he's not in there facing Zack Ryder. He's in there facing the fucking WWE champion. And now you got Sami Zayn coming in and facing John Cena. He's not in there facing fucking R-Truth. He's not in there facing Cody Rhodes. He's not in there facing Primetime Player. What's his name?
O'Neal?
The other one.
Or Darren Young?
He's not even he's not facing any of those bastards. Fandango, nothing. He's got this rub. People know, they all know this is going to be the guy. And with Daniel Bryan gone, maybe his ascension to the main roster is going to be pretty fast. It's going to be faster. Because we still got to decide whether Daniel Bryan's going to come back or not.
I don't even, that bums me out, man. But then we go into an attempted match. The Bella Twins are walking to the ring, and then all of a sudden they get attacked by Naomi and Tamina.
I didn't know. I was like, is that Tamina?
I don't think JBL didn't. Or I forget which one. JBL Mike Bowler was like, that's, and Booker T had to like save him a little bit. That's Tamina.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool because it's like the women's Samoan tag team. Like we've always seen, like the Samoans, even up to the Usos, and now Roman Reigns. But now this is the first time where it's like this family is represented by lady wrestlers. So that's.
Well, I've been wondering what the fuck Tamina's been for ages. I don't think she's been even. I don't think she's even been around since we've started this fucking podcast.
No. Well, I think she was like Alicia Fox's friend. Or
AJ Lee's heavy.
Yeah. So that's.
And it was like this weird sort of sexual kind of, this crazy lesbian thing that was a potential thing. It was weird, but that was like more than a year ago.
Was it just a bunch of new hairstyle by Naomi? I like the.
I don't like it. I think they uglied her up.
Oh, okay. I didn't.
And the black, like her new outfit and the braids. She's basically a smaller version of Karma.
I can see what you're saying.
And she's not as she's. I guess she's dark, not in terms of like color, but she's dark. So now they have to put her in a place where, as long as she's heel and she looked like with the hair and she was wearing the very provocative stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way that I'm gonna turn.
Yeah.
I'm always want that ass. And now it's just like I'm not as turned on by her in her new outfit and the braids. I'm just not. It's weird. It's weird.
Well, give it time, Peter. Give it time.
It's weird how fast that can happen though. And they wouldn't have done that if that was the case. They're like, we have to unpretty her.
I just don't understand why they tried so hard to make something work where it was already working. She was already getting over. She beat Nikki Bella twice. We wanted to see her win the title. Like, why is that? Why can't? Sometimes the obvious stuff works, and especially right there. I mean, we can speculate all day, but I just like it ended up working out cool because now we get this. We get this lady tag team against the Bellas. It's like a women's tag team division of sorts. But I really don't think we had to try that hard to get there.
They had to do something. I think there's something else going on. If you want to make you want to make Naomi relevant. Not saying they had to turn her heel, but I think for the storyline she's in, she's getting a rub. Regardless of how people feel about like race and how these guys are getting booked, she's getting a rub. And she's getting a good rub. Not only are they investing not only in like giving her storyline, they're also investing in how she looks. To where they're like, we're going to run with this. You're going to be like someone who we're going to keep around for a while, and you're going to be part of a major storyline. Like, just because she's heel now doesn't mean she's going to be faced later. She will be faced at some point later.
Yeah.
And maybe she'll be faced against Tamina at some point. You know? And that's how she's going to get her baby face push again. But it's exciting. We don't know where this can go. We don't know at all. But for what Tamina and Naomi represent, the rest of the Divas roster can't keep up. Like, there's nothing else on the Divas roster that can actually go against this at all.
Yeah, well,
and make it look at least legitimate.
I think Natty could hold her own, especially in size and power against those two.
But she hasn't been put in a situation to be taken seriously against Naomi as of late.
Well, I might have like some fantasy booking that might help with that.
You got to start bringing these women up, man.
Yeah, you do. Well, to help Natty, you do a 6-man tag, or like she helps Kid and Cesaro against a New Day. It helps even the odds a little bit. She could definitely big power slam spot with Kofi, and then that gets her like, oh, I think she could probably take on Naomi.
Yeah, but we've seen her against Naomi as of late, and she's been getting her ass handed to her easily.
Well,
so
they can turn Dean. Look at Dean. They can turn it around.
I don't know. I'm only bringing up the question. And it really boils down to, okay, you got this rough and tumble, because before it was Natty and fucking Beth Phoenix, and they were just like losing and losing. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
These are like the women of destruction. These are big bad bitches in there with these little bitty girls. How are these girls like getting over on these big bad bitches? And like, I just hope that doesn't turn into that, because like, what, Emma is gonna step up? Like who? Like Rosa Mendez? Like this is like a faction that like this is too
strong.
Yeah, I mean they're like jumping the gun just a little too much
like the
here.
NWO and WCW, the women's division of today.
It's like, what are you doing? They got nobody to go up against. It's like, okay, they're here and they're just gonna be at the top.
I don't know if you saw the Tamina super kick, but after they showed like Brie was like, oh, like her face just like awful.
She popped it.
Yeah, her chest was red. She was holding her chest.
Yeah.
And Naomi just dropped her. But it wasn't like she caught herself in the drop. Mm-hmm. Nikki did not want to be kicked that hard. She didn't want to be kicked in that way.
Nope.
She was just kicked. She was just flat out. I grabbed you and held you, and then you got kicked. Which was, I mean, it's. I'm not in for someone to get beat up on TV, but it's kind of nice to see like people into it that much, where something would happen like that.
Who was it that made her nose bloody from a super kick? Do you remember? She caught one.
I heard that there was kind of political stuff.
It was Paige. It was a Paige super kick, and it busted her fucking nose wide open, and the nose starts bleeding on air. And then then she posted a picture on her Instagram of like this bloody paper towel.
Oh. That's wild stuff, man. And then we go on to the after that, King Barrett and Sheamus versus Ziggler and Neville. Neville always impressive. I thought it was a good little tag team match. At the end, Neville does a springboard, attempts to do a springboard spot, but then gets caught with the bull hammer for the win. I like that spot right there. I think the Barrett and Neville feud really works well. I think that they got a good dynamic there, but it was just real quick.
Yeah, they need to clean that up quick. I absolutely had no interest. I mean, I
Really?
wrote. Yeah, I just wrote. Yeah, Barrett gets
Barrett and Neville.
Give me something, man.
All
Give me
right.
something.
All
Just
right.
give me something. Give me something exciting.
Well, then we go right into the main event.
And the main event is Orton versus Reigns with Kane and Rollins and J&J Security. Well, Noble gives the announcement that he's the special guest announcer. The special guest timekeeper is Noble. The Kane is the ring enforcer. And it's like, and Rollins is on commentary. Whatever, dude. This match, whatever.
I mean, yeah, it was pretty much set up where you kind of were like, hey, what the fuck are these guys doing out here? I think, Rainey and Reigns were kind of realizing it was a setup, and then it was a setup. They got attacked, but then to save them, Dean comes out, takes out J&J, allows them to take out Kane and Rollins, and then they kind of look at each other, and I wrote down Randy RKO's Reigns.
Yep.
And then Randy pops back up from that, and then Ambrose is like, well, fuck you. I'm going to dirty deeds to
Yeah, Reigns hits
Orton.
Rollins with the spear, RKO to Reigns from Orton, and dirty deeds to Orton. And he stands strong at the end of the
Yeah,
night.
Ambrose looking tall. People cheering, going right into his hometown. So I guess we're going to at least get it for a second week into this Payback pay-per-view. Which, if it's short-lived, it's still cool. If it's long-lived, that's even better.
It's they gotta have to do something. They gotta do something. I mean, and it's, you gotta pull the trigger. You don't fucking play with it and then get out of it, play with it again and get out of it. I think us as wrestling fans, especially for, they have to know that we care about this guy. They wouldn't trot him out as, like, again, a side hoe to sort of appease the lack thereof Brian. We're better than that. We're smarter than that. We're not that dumb. We get it. We've been here before. So don't insult our intelligence. If you're going to do this, run with it. We're not going to be mad. But I be damned if Brian comes back, fucking Dean Ambrose is facing Adam Rose.
That's a good point, but I think if Brian keeps getting hurt the way they do and Dean stays fresh, especially with the style he's working, it might switch a little bit. It might turn to maybe a more equal or a flip.
I don't know what's going on. I don't understand why he isn't already as part of the main event. I mean, this just sounds like a temporary thing. This only comes off as temporary.
If you heard the when Colt interviewed Punk on the Colt Cabana podcast, he kind of explained the background of the Shield. Like they were gonna give Punk a faction.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, he wanted to be new guys. But if you listen to that, the only guy they really wanted in that faction was Rollins.
Yeah.
And then Reigns is, of course, pedigreed in that family. So Dean is just the odd man out. They never.
And Hero was supposed to be in it. That's what I remember. Even. Yeah.
That's what Punk says and everything. But I'm just saying, like Dean was the odd man out. He wasn't in a famous family. He wasn't Rollins, who they really wanted to bring up. So Dean just kind of stood up. He was like the kid that no one wanted, but everyone realizes he's super over. So hopefully they just take advantage of it.
I sure fucking hope so. I think a lot of us do, but I just don't see it happening.
I mean, I don't either, but I mean, I think it helps out the Payback pay-per-view in the short term. I think.
Short term.
I mean, if long term is great, short term is good. It's better than it being bad. And I think a three-way with those three guys would have just been bad.
Now, let's just say Rollins wins Payback.
Oh, I think he is.
Yeah, let's just say he wins. Next up is Money in the Bank, right?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. It seems that it's going to be Shield related all year. Everything's going to be either between Rollins and more reigns, and then Ambrose. This is like the first of several things that they're going to do with these three down the road. Even this 4-way, it's the Shield versus Randy Orton, which is even funnier.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for Kane to be the special guest referee for this. But like, do they go fresh with someone with Rollins for the championship, or does Reigns still go after it? Does Orton still go after it? Right? Like, is there someone next in line for a title shot other than those three?
I mean, it doesn't look that way.
Barrett?
He's way down.
Barrett's
a heel.
I know, but Barrett yeah. But he could change up. I mean,
what I would do is put Reigns and Rollins as the main event, because the reason why people watch the Money in the Bank is that number one contender ladder match. Mm-hmm. So you can do Reigns and Rollins in like a bare bones match, and that would at
Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
And why does Reigns deserve the title shot?
I mean, he got attacked by Rollins at WrestleMania.
How many times does he deserve a chance?
I mean,
as long as WWE gives it.
It's not how I would book it. I wouldn't. If I booked the show, I wouldn't have Roman Reigns. I would have Roman Reigns as like a muscle for Rollins or something. But like, I'm just saying, like,
I've never even thought of that. That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Yeah. But like, I'm saying, like, if like, as I'm just looking at it and as I like see like patterns in their thing, I think they can. We've seen with the Bella Twins and Kid Cesaro, they can just leave gaps in the booking. And I think they might just do Reigns and Rollins for the Money in the Bank, because they're going to try to sell the pay-per-view on that big six-man ladder match they do every year. It's called Money in the Bank.
I feel like someone's left out. I mean, who wasn't on this show? Big Show wasn't on this show. Mark Henry. Where the fuck is Mark Henry? And then
they'd have to do a lot to get Big Show wrestling Rollins.
But who would, outside of those three, would even be close to a viable option? Because right now, I see Dean Ambrose winning Money in the Bank. Like, it just seems like all arrows just point to him.
Well, what they could do is, what I said, they could do Rollins and Reigns, and then when Dean wins the belt, what if he runs out and cashes in? They have a three-way with the Shield right there. Or they set it where he holds it up and they have a three-way with the Shield at the next pay-per-view before SummerSlam.
Because I see Dean Ambrose cash it in later.
Well,
it's gonna be weird with him It's gonna be really weird. But who else? Like, who else? Like, name me two guys.
No, I think he would look cool with him walking out the ring and flinging in his dude. The music playing.
He would do something zany with it. He would actually probably handcuff it to himself.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe wear like a big necklace. Feels like a midget just hanging from my necklace.
He'd do something zany, but that's Raw. I think it's a shame that there's no one else even on the card that would even come close to facing Rollins, other than those three, facing Rollins.
I think Kane.
And Money in the Bank, or who to win the Money in the Bank.
Well, they could have the Kane and his feud boil over to where there's a match.
That's all about Triple H, man. That's all about Triple H. I don't see it any other way. This is a Triple H issue.
Well, I'm saying using an established character in the 90s like Kane to wrestle Rollins on a pay-per-view where, like I said before, it's built under the number one contenders match would be a good way to just kind of like, help Rollins get some wins, help, Kane get the pay-per-view, with an established name, while still having that marquee match, the six-man ladder match.
I feel like the most believable would be Ryback, or even Cesaro.
Well, Cesaro, they'd have to do a lot of work, but Ryback is like set up to like the next step. He beats Bray, then he takes Rollins, which I can see that. But last time that they had Ryback in a pay-per-view main event was like Hell in the Cell against Punk, where Maddox did all that.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know if they're comfortable with doing that. But I do think Ryback is improving.
But they dropped the ball on not Ryback.
Yeah, but they're not going to admit to that themselves, man.
Of course.
Yeah. They don't do anything wrong, don't you know? Vince has been right for 30 years. That's why he's the man.
He's been right, left, up, and down.
He's
the entire compass. So that is Peter and Jake Talk Wrestling for now.
Hell yeah.
And there may be some changes, just putting it out there. But nevertheless, until things come to fruition, look forward to Fast in the World podcast coming this Thursday. And also check out Peter Talks SmackDown, hopefully this Friday or Saturday. So do a lot of things, like, share, subscribe, comment, do all those things. Get to know us. Add us on Twitter. How do they find you, bro?
At JG Pro Wrestling on Twitter.
Find me at Ellen Japanese. That's LinJapaNese. That's Ellen Japanese, and also PJTW Central on Twitter as well. And the Ellen Japanese you can also find on Instagram, and if you use Snapchat, it's on that motherfucker too. Is there anything else we need to address? Anything at all that we need to address?
No, sir.
Alright, so that concludes another Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. See you next week, motherfuckers!
Later.
You have been listening to Peter and Jake Talks Wrasslin podcast. Please tune in next week.
Come on, y'all, get live, get down. Like, come on, y'all, get live, get down. I said, come on, y'all, get live, get down. I said, come on, y'all, get live, get down.